Welcome to my channel again. Today we will talk about When Leaders Struggle with Collaboration by Ron Carucci and Luis Velasquez. A client of Luis's, let's call him Charlie, a senior executive reporting directly to the CEO, was recently given feedback that despite his outstanding performance, his colleagues struggled to work with him. Deliver results, his no-nonsense approach to offering his viewpoints, and the intensity with which he approached most everything made him appear unnecessarily competitive, despite that being the furthest thing from his intent. As a result, without realizing it, Charlie lost the trust of some of his most critical stakeholders, his peers. Charlie isn't alone in his struggle. Consultants and executive coaches to high-performing executives, we see this frequently. It's not uncommon for talented leaders to find collaboration unnatural. After all, rugged individualism set them apart and propelled their careers. And for many, that same focus on distinguishing themselves later becomes their demise. Harvard Business Review research review for collaboration failure includes silos, 67%, no collaborative vision from leaders, 32%, and senior managers not wanting to give up control, 32%. Today's workplace has become more collaborative than ever, with functional and divisional boundaries blurred beyond recognition, yet 39% of employees worldwide say people in their organization. Most of an enterprise's competitive value is created and delivered at organizational seams, where functions come together to form capabilities. Think marketing, consumer analytics, and R&D together developing innovation capability. That requires leaders of those functions to collaborate across the silos to deliver that value. If you're a leader who struggles to collaborate with your peers, understand why that is, then work to develop that skill. Why collaboration doesn't come easy. Before you can improve, it's critical to reflect on why collaboration doesn't come naturally to you. Here are some common reasons we've seen among leaders we've worked with. You're competitive and fear being overshadowed. You've likely enjoyed a track record of winning and being. Nevertheless, the notion of sharing the spotlight with others makes you anxious. Perhaps your sense of identity and success has been reinforced by years of individual achievement. Still, it's essential to realize that at higher organizational altitudes, success is achieved through integrated efforts. Pay close attention when you fear that others might outshine you or that your contribution won't. Understanding the inner narrative telling you that your uniqueness will be blunted is the first step to changing it. At this level of the organization, you must believe that your contribution will be amplified if it's blended with others' contributions. You've relied heavily on hierarchy to get things done. Perhaps you've operated in your own functional silo and, despite caring for those you lead, have been the work of others toward the results you've achieved. Or perhaps you grew up professionally in a culture that prizes hierarchy and deference to authority. Recognize that at this level of the organization, influencing your peers is critical and very different from the positional authority you hold over your direct reports. You must be less directive and more curious and conversational. One of Ron's class issue had it said of him by a peer in his 360 feedbacks, "He barks orders at me as though I report to him." When Ron shared the feedback with his client and asked if he ever modulated his approach between direct reports and peers, his response was telling. He said, "Well, I assumed my peers understood that I respect their authority and expertise, but apparently, I was wrong to realize that such respect has to be mutually earned and doesn't just come along with rank." You focused more on results than relationships. Human beings are hardwired for connection to other humans, but it's common for high-achieving individuals to be guarded when it comes to relationships. If you prided yourself on not needing to be liked by others, dig deeper into why that might be. I'm reflecting on the relationships in your life, both inside and outside of work. Where have you built meaningful connections? Where have you avoided them? Are there certain relationships where connection is easier for you? Pay special attention to places where you avoid relationships. One client of Luis's, who grew up in India as the youngest of 5 children, had difficult relationships with people in authority. He was combative and defensive. When Luis asked him about some of his formative struggles in life, he realized that he saw his father and his brothers as bosses and was resentfully viewing his peers in the same way. The key to these important conversations is that they're led by managers, not by HR, in order to create more direct the organization and provide a growth opportunity for managers. As one of Whittinghill's colleagues shared with him, "I didn't think the culture conversation was going to be that big of a deal, but my team is so fired up." Managers are given a facilitator's guide that lays out the important messages to convey and emphasizes the importance of sharing personal stories. Whittinghill has available to coach and prepare managers for these conversations individually. Placing managers in the middle of these high-touch, valuable conversations allow managers at all levels to grow and develop. Smaller companies can emulate this initiative. The first step is to target the problem you'd like your managers to help address, for example, a high-level problem like values and culture, problem like product development or sales. Next, map out a clear process for bringing the managers into the conversation, and all along, use your values as a guide. As Whittinghill said, if you do that, the outcome is belonging, which ties together managers, their teams, and the entire organization. Provide peer-to-peer support for managers. Even the most trained managers are going to have a lot of work to do. Ongoing support is essential as they keep up with continued uncertainty. I spoke with Hayden Brown, CEO of Upwork, who is passionate about re-engaging and activating the managers in the business, especially with so many employees working remotely. Upwork holds a monthly Zoom gathering called One Upwork Forum, where meshing with each other about change they're driving, day initiatives, and anything they're struggling with. While this is a candid, peer-to-peer gathering, it's sponsored by a rotating executive, someone who's willing to kind of nurture and be the voice and the champion of the group, Brown told me. As Brown put it, I think that's been a really great way to drive that engagement and have that group kind of gone through so much change. Peer support, as opposed to top-down feedback, offers several benefits, including insight into diverse perspectives, opportunities to practice new skills in a safe space, and an enduring support network. Having managers practice their skills together is also another opportunity for professional development. Take the prerequisite to empathy and compassion. Ask questions to challenge your point of view and clarify the other person's. Doing so sends a strong signal that you care about their perspective. Value others equally. Put yourself in an environment where your deep expertise has minimal credibility and you have to be like everyone else. Putting yourself in a place of mutual interdependence will help you feel what a playing field. For example, you could join a team or club outside of work, a hobby group, or a local recreation league for a sport you play. As you do so, journal about what you're feeling and learning. Note places where you're enjoying yourself and places where you feel uncomfortable. Become someone others can rely on. No matter who you are, you still need others to others need you. Acknowledge that interdependency by deepening stakeholder relationships. Identify critical players you rely on and those who depend on you. Spend time with them. When you're with them, notice what your brain is doing, questioning motives, guarding, or feeling comfortable and curious. Identify the conditions that lead you to be more open. Building in relationships is the foundation of sustainable collaboration. Then, act on what you've learned. So that others will see you as a genuinely collaborative leader, take actions to accelerate your reputation as a team player. The key here is to be genuine. If you do these steps in a performative way, people will see right through it, which will set your reputation back further. Sense of generosity. Look for intentional ways to contribute to others when you get nothing in return. For example, offer a favor, support someone's strategic agenda, or share ideas and resources. Notice what it feels like to give without getting. How did the recipient of your kindness respond? If this is new behavior for you, don't be surprised if others are a bit cold. They might not yet appreciate this new you, so be patient and give it time. Share the spotlight and give credit. Find ways to purposefully cede the stage to someone else when it's shining on you. This exposes new talent to new audiences and builds that person's confidence and sense of pride. In addition, this helps others experience you as a leader who doesn't hog the limelight. If you do it just to be seen that way, it will backfire. Doing this also benefits your organization. Teams that share the spotlight with each other more frequently have greater retention, and their organizations have higher growth because they collaborate more. Ask for advice. Approach one of your key stakeholders with a challenge you need help with. This models vulnerability, demonstrates, and shows that you understand you need others. If you're struggling with a particular individual, an easy way to build trust is by asking them for advice. Later, let them know how you applied it. Colleagues who believe you genuinely need them are more likely to seek your help and support your ideas in public settings. Take heart if you're a leader needing to strengthen your collaboration. It feels like an unnatural act. You've already achieved some success, which is evidence that you can work hard and learn. In today's hyperconnected world, lone wolves are becoming a thing of the past. Today, inclusive, humble, other-oriented leaders are seen as the most credible and influential. Effectively collaborating is key to becoming and remaining a leader. Thank you for watching and listening. To receive update on our new video or audio, kindly click on subscribe button and extend your kindness by sharing this with someone. This is produced by Oracle Media.